All right, guys, let's finish up the look at the offense. I know free agency has already been going on for close to a week now, so a lot of the big time players have been signed. But part of the reason why that doesn't really matter for me is I know that this Seahawks team is not going to go get any of the AAA free agents because we can't afford it. We got too many guys we need to pay in the next couple years, and it's not our style to go spend a ton of money in free agency unless we're getting an opportunity to go after a guy like a Michael Bennett or a Cliff Averill, guys who are going to be really, really underpaid. So that just doesn't happen that often. It's not that often when you can go get two of the best defensive ends in football and pay them like 8 million a year. That's, one thing I'm getting in my comments section lately when I make these draft videos, these free agency videos, is like, why aren't the Seahawks going out to spend a whole bunch of money on free agents? Why aren't they getting any of the big free agents? A lot of the times when you go out and get a free agent, even if the free agent works out for you, you end up having to overpay the dude. That's just part of the deal. Like, you didn't draft me, you didn't give me money when I was an unproven rookie and I was, an up and comer. You have to overpay me now. And I'll be good for you, but I'm probably not going to be worth the money you gave me. So, to the Seahawks fans out there who are mad at the team because we're not spending a ton of money in free agency, step off a little bit, I think. I would definitely lay off that a little bit. It's not that simple. So, last video I dug into the right guard spot and the left guard spot. So in this video, we're going to wrap up our look at the offense with right tackle. A lot of people say we have a need at wide receiver. I don't see it that way, but maybe I'll discuss that at some point because so many people seem to think we need another wide receiver. I kind of don't, but maybe I'll talk about that later. So, right tackle, we could roll into 2019 with what we have. Jermaine Ifedi played better last year, and he's going to be under a contract year this year. So he has something to prove. He could get better because he's working with Solari. He could be better because he wants to get paid. But he's certainly not great. I mean, I think the best we could hope for this year is that he's okay. Maybe he'll be okay this year. Very possible he's not even that. He's not that good. I mean, he was one of the worst tackles in the league for a few years. And then last year, he finally started to kind of sort of get his shit straight. Behind him, we have George Fant. We tendered him. So he is under contract next year unless somebody wants to give us a draft pick for him, which I don't think is going to happen. So to me, we could roll into 2019 with that being our right tackle situation, Fant and Ifedi. But if we want to improve our depth or maybe give us another guy who might be able to start for us if Ifedi's not working out, because we know that Fant is not some stellar prospect. I don't think we're in love with George Fant's potential. George Fant might project to be more of a left tackle anyway, honestly, so who knows. So I just wanted to give us some options what we can do to improve at right tackle going into 2019 if we decide to go that route. So real quick, free agency, I only saw two names that caught my eye in terms of tackles that we could get who are still available because the guys like Trent Brown making way too much money. I think the Panthers re-signed their guy. I can't remember his name, but we can't get guys like that. They cost too much. So the two names that caught my eye as guys we could bring in to improve our depth and maybe give us another option at starter would be Jeremy Parnell. Last year he was in Jacksonville. He's like 33 this year. And then the other guy is Donald Penn. He was a Raiders right tackle for a long time, or left tackle. He's going to be 36 this year. So it's not great. We don't have enough money to get great. I mean, this is probably the best we can do given our budget situation. It's also the best we can do at this point because everyone else has been signed or re-signed or tendered or whatever. The only other guy I saw that was even a little bit interesting was the Steelers guy, and he's been tendered, and I don't want to give up a draft pick for him, so forget it. Jeremy Parnell has been a good right tackle throughout his career. Last year, he was not very good, and he's getting older. He's 33 now. Probably on the way out. He's probably descending into, irrelevancy. He's probably at this point not much better than a guy like George Fant or Jermaine Ifedi, but he could be decent depth. He might have one more good year left in him, and we could get him for probably the vet minimum or not too much more than that. So Jeremy Parnell, that's probably the most intriguing free agent to me. And then the other guy, Donald Penn, is in the same boat. He was a very good left tackle for a long time, and last year he fell off a cliff. Maybe he has 1 year left. Maybe he can, heal up. Maybe he can play in a scheme that suits him. Maybe just maybe, he can give us one good year at right tackle if the Ifedi thing doesn't work out. And again, he's 36 years old. He did not play well last year. He got cut by the Raiders, so he'll come cheap. So these are our two options for improving our right tackle spot in free agency. Past that, I listed some options for us in the draft this year. I don't think we're going to be spending a top pick on a right tackle in this draft because it's not an automatic immediate need, but to put some names out there, Caleb McGarry. Now, we know this guy because he is a UW dog. He's projected to go in the top part of the second round. So if we trade down to the top of the second, we could probably get this guy right around there. He's obviously got a lot of experience as a run blocker because the last couple of years Washington has been a run-first team. He's been one of the blockers for Myles Gaskin, the best running back in Washington Huskies history probably. So this is an intriguing option if he's there in the top to middle of the first round, of the second round, excuse me. So maybe I don't really want to spend my first pick on a right tackle, but it's out there. Next name, I kind of like David Edwards, a Wisconsin tackle. This guy projects to go in the third round, so we could get him with our later picks, which is a little more interesting to me. This guy, he plays for the Wisconsin Badgers, so he might also be the kind of tackle that Solari likes because he likes run blockers. Brian Schottenheimer likes run blockers. We like to run the ball. So David Edwards in the third round, if he's there at some point in the third and we can, trade up or just use one of our picks to get him, that's interesting to me. And the last name I have for the draft is Isaiah Prince, Ohio State. He could be gotten in the fourth round. He's projected to go in like the early fourth. So we might have to move some things around to position ourselves to get a guy like that. But he's a decent prospect. He could be like Jamarco Jones was for us last year. And, Jamarco, we don't know if he's going to be good or not, but I actually like him a lot. I liked what I heard about him. I liked what I saw from him, and then he got hurt really early, so we don't know. But if we could get our hands on another Jamarco Jones-like prospect, we could position ourselves really well for the future, in my opinion. So maybe Isaiah Prince or David Edwards could be that for us this year. That's basically what I'm looking at right now in terms of the right tackle spot. It's not great. I mean, these guys, there is tons of evidence to say that they are washed up now. There is a ton of evidence to say they don't have it anymore. But if we have to bet on somebody being okay next year, in the case that Ifedi just isn't cutting it, these are the two most appetizing names. And if you don't believe that George Fant is the future, like I kind of don't. I mean, I kind of do, but then again, it's like we could do so much better. These are the guys we could look at in this year's draft, in my opinion. These are the guys who I think are positioned to go in a place where we could actually pick them. So that's your offense for me. That's how I think we can improve. Obviously, the last couple videos I made, I've been talking about the offensive guard spot. We did re-sign DJ Fluker, so hooray. So we're rolling into 2019 with Fluker at one guard spot and Upati at another guard spot. We have Posick backing them up. We have Simmons backing them up. If Upati stays healthy and holds it together, then it's good. I mean, I just don't really believe that Upati and Fluker can stay healthy. Either of them, really. But if they somehow manage to, then we have something. I still, if you go back to my old video, I was listing names like TJ Lang. I would still like to go get a guy like a TJ Lang. But we took care of the guard spot at the minimal acceptable level, at least. So if we want to address right tackle, this is what I got. All right. Next video I'll be making is addressing the defense. Mostly going to be draft talk at this point because the big free agents and even a lot of the middling free agents are gone, and we don't really have enough money to get any of the big ones anyway. So, all right. See you guys later. Go.